let's rattle on. These two are probably about to face the longest night in the sport, being in the lead at Burghley and going through until we start cross country tomorrow at 11:30. First of all, can we congratulate Tim Price-Vitali for New Zealand, lying second at the moment, and our leader by 0.1 of a penalty is Kitty King and Vendredi Biats for Great Britain. Tim, this morning you woke up the dressage judges nicely with an excellent score. Beyond expectation for Vitali?
No, because he's very capable and he's been going very well all week. And normally when he's in that frame of mind, it sticks around, and that's how he is, for a good few days. So, no, he's been in good form, to be honest, at home, and then coming in here, he's come very healthy to this competition, which hasn't always been the case. So it was down to me to go out there and deliver a good result and do him justice, really, and so it was fun to do that.
Was that a good draw for the horse, and are your three in a good order for you?
How do you mean, like the order?
Did Friday morning suit him, and then those three in that order on cross country?
I'm very happy to have Van Gogh first. He's the horse I know the best, especially around big 5 stars. So to go out on him, I thought there's a very strong chance. Having 3 horses, I'll be very first to go. So there's not much to reference there. Just go out on him and learn a bit, and hopefully do a good job at the same time. And then the other two were, they both were in different ways inexperienced and unknown quantities. So, but in terms of dressage, I thought it was a bit unfair, but it's just the way the cookie crumbles to be first of each day. But that's fine. I think second day first to go is a bit different to first day first to go. So, and fortunately, the judges, they seem to be all well looked in the wee boxes, and they all look quite awake and smiley, and I think they must have had a good night last night, and either not too much to drink or enough to drink, I'm not sure. So no, they were good.
Okay, and Kitty, congratulations. We could see the emotion of just Froggy's performance, first of all, when you came out at A, and then seeing your score. Just talk us through those few moments.
Well, he's a fantastic horse, and I know he's capable of that sort of test, but we haven't always been able to produce it, on the big occasion. We've had, we had a good test at Babington, but a few little mistakes here and there, and for him to come out and today just really produce what he can do at home was just fantastic. I was really proud of him. I seemed to have lots of time between each movement to set everything up. He just stayed really with me, and yeah, we're here to prove a point, and he really let me do that today.
Is there any change you've made to try and get that last little bit of consistency, or is it just the stars aligned this one particular day?
It's been, a long road, long process. We've been working towards this for a very long time with him, because, as I say, he's always been more than capable, but it's just getting him focused and concentrated and with me, and he's been getting better every time out, and every 3 days done, he's been better, he's been more rideable. So, it's just a progression, I suppose, and he's, really coming into his own now, I hope.
It certainly looks like it. Andrew Bennie has just joined us, the president of the Grand Jury for Land Rover Burghley 2022. Andrew, overall, I think you've had a very pleasant 2 days in your box. We've seen some wonderful tests, not just these two.
We've been on part-time. But no, we've seen some lovely tests. Kitty's test in particular, as you're talking about, Kitty, was just very harmonious. It looked super, and I couldn't give her anything but a 10 for her for the harmony.
Yeah.
I just thought it was just a super test, and we've got 10 marks. Why shouldn't we use them?
And overall, beyond sort of the top 3, was there anyone, because you know the sport, you do an awful lot of judging, is there someone who you sat back and said, wow, they've made a great improvement, or it was just a horse you kind of fell in love with as much as you can, being subjective?
I think that the standard overall has got better and better and better. We haven't had a Burghley for 3 years, and it's just interesting to see those horses. The horses all looked really super well. They looked fit, they looked really rearing to go, didn't they, Tim? But yeah, I mean, the whole thing There was obviously some favourites. I thought, as I say, Kitty's horse and I think Tim's horses. The top horses looked super trained, super well trained. Hopefully they'll have a fantastic day out on that cross country and they'll still be in those positions afterwards tomorrow. But yeah, the standard generally I think has improved out of sight, and it's great to see.
Obviously we know what gets a 10, but sort of what were your three as a panel? What were your watchwords? Was it accuracy? Was it forwardness? Was it, what did you really enjoy watching, and what as a panel did you agree after the guinea pig that you were going to sort of reward here?
Well, as a panel after the guinea pig, we don't really have to agree as such, because we each have our own personal, we shouldn't really say likes, but there are things. I like to see the horses and riders looking harmonious, and the riders riding with empathy. They're not trying to make their horses go and make them do a half pass and make them do a flying change. It all should look easy, and it should be fluid, and the horses should be supple, and just as the riders can make a mistake, or the horses can make a mistake, we can make a mistake as well. And we have the opportunity to, if there's a flying change that the marks are different at this level, if there's a 3-mark difference, we can review that, review the video, and so that the marks can be corrected if they need to be corrected. So, harmony.
Yeah.
And empathy, and the riders looking like they're hardly doing anything, and they really are, but yeah.
I'm going to do what I did yesterday, because we've got 2 new riders to get an opinion on the cross-country course from, but whilst dressage is fresh in our mind, do we have any dressage questions for Andrew? Okay, rolling on. Let's give the microphone back to Tim. Tim, a former winner here, and you are our trailblazer tomorrow. First 4 or 5 minutes of this course seems like a lot of work, let alone the next 6.
Yeah, it does. I think, by the time you get up and around sort of Maltings area, you'll definitely know how your day's going. I don't think I've seen the leaf pit as intense as that since before I was actually riding here, and I watched people racing down there on 4 or 5 strides to something. I think since then we've had a bit more time, so that's going to be exciting to be leaping off there to see what happens at the bottom. So there's some big distances. The trout hatchery is a real sequence of and finding your way through. I just really like it because there's a lot of places you have to have a good reaction, and I think that's why at Burghley you often see the top riders come to the fore, because they have a plan, but then they let the reaction come into their plan. So you've got to look through a combination. You've got to feel what's underneath you, and you've got to make a very quick decision that is hopefully the right one numerous times.
It's interesting to put words in your mouth. It feels like Burghley and Derek de Grazia have pretty well meshed, because his courses from Kentucky and Tokyo. Yeah,
and he's been clever with the ground in places, and he loves ground. You can tell he's a bit of a merchant for an interesting piece of ground to do something stupid on. And this is his first time here, so it's going to be fun to see what he does over the next few years, as well as he gets more in sync with the place.
Kitty, then, what's the thinking of a rider who's in the lead overnight and has a lot of cross-country to watch before she gets on her horse?
To be honest, I was really pleased to see that Tim was going first. I love watching Tim ride cross-country, and I think hopefully he'll fill me with confidence, make it all look easy. It's just an awful lot to jump out there, and sort of looking forward to it, but equally dreading it at the same time. I've got a great horse, and he really enjoys the cross country. I just hope he's listening, but he always goes around with a smile on his face, and I hope we both finish with one.
Probably going to walk the whole thing again, but what combination do you walk last and analyse? What's the one that you're still going, haven't got the plan finalised?
To be honest, I'm going to look at them all again. There's just so many elements to them. I want to really know all my ways out. If something goes wrong over part A or B, I want to make sure that I know that if I pull right or left, that I am going to the correct fence to kind of make amends. But obviously, I will have a plan A, and hopefully we'll be able to stick to that. But it is cross-country riding, and that doesn't often happen.
Absolutely. And Andrew, I don't know if you want to speak to this, but the TDs from the rider rep yesterday, and the jury agreed there was a change to the lettering at the trout hatchery. So if you walk the course early in the week, just do be aware of that. It does allow the riders now to do a mix and match, whereas previously most of the lettering does not allow you to change route midstream. But Andrew, if I could just get you to talk to us about that, like, you know, that's the jury through the TDs working well with the athletes through the rider rep.
Yeah, well, as we tried to express at the riders' briefing, we love to have a bit of communication, a bit of feedback. You know, sometimes we walk a course and we have to approve it as the round jury with the TD, the course designer and the organiser. We have to approve that cross-country course, and there are occasions when we as a ground jury, especially if we're ridden at high level, will have a feeling about a fence. And if we have a feeling about a fence, which actually we discussed when we walked the course, the changes there's been 3 minor changes that have been made, one slightly more major change at the trout hatchery. We discussed that when we walked, and we actually sort of agreed that if there was any representation from the riders or the rider rep, that we would do something about it. And that's got to be good for the sport, because we listen. You know, as ground jury, as officials, we want to try and make it as good as possible, as safe as possible. You know, it's a risk sport, but we want to try and make everything as good as we possibly can for the riders to have a good time and the horses to have a good time.
Andrew, thank you, and thank you for the efforts of you and your officials behind the scenes. But of course, congratulations to these guys. Tim Price and Kitty King are top 2 after dressage at the Land Rover Burghley Horse Trials, and the best of luck to them and the other 50 riders we'll see on cross country tomorrow. How would you like to talk?